Welcome back, Endgame community. I'm Pierre, he's Chris. We're here to talk fantasy football. I know it's kind of a long way until fantasy football season starts for 2022, but not really because draft season has already begun, at least if you play best ball. You can check out Underdog. They already have early best ball drafts open and we're all over it. So we're gonna go over some of our favorite sleepers that you wanna pick in the mid to late rounds to help you win. That's right, we're already ready to try to help you knock out those leagues and win some prize money. So let's start, Chris. Who's the first guy you got your eye on?
I cannot believe how low Melvin Gordon has fallen in terms of drafts. He's currently going outside the top 100, going outside the top 115 players, and I don't get it. I know we all love Javonte Williams. We all want Melvin Gordon to not come back to Denver, being a free agent this year. But there's a chance that he does because Denver really likes him, and he was actually really good for them the last 2 years. But even if he doesn't come back to Denver, he's probably going to land somewhere, and he's probably going to land in a good situation because, like I said, he was good the last 2 years. There are some running back needy teams out there. How about your Miami Dolphins? That would be a great landing spot for Melvin Gordon. So I think people are just so excited about Javonte Williams that they've just thrown Melvin Gordon to the curb. But this is a guy who, even if he doesn't return to Denver, is probably going to land somewhere pretty good, have solid RB2 value all season in 2022, and you're getting him pretty much almost free, like I said, outside the top 115. So Melvin Gordon is a guy I'm going to be drafting pretty much every time I can.
Yeah, and here's another thought. Look, if Melvin Gordon does leave, does that mean they're really just not going to add any other running back? Like Javonte Williams getting 100% of the touches? That's not how modern NFL backfields work. So that's another reason why Javonte Williams going, I think, in the top 15 in this ADP, it's too much. So everyone needs to calm down. But I agree, Gordon could be a great value. So we're looking at guys outside that top 100, some people who might be getting slept on. How about a guy that just woke up at the end of last season, and that is Rashad Penny in Seattle or wherever he winds up signing, also free agent. We'll see what happens with him. So for me, it's not so much that I expect that he's just going to go somewhere and become the lead back and dominate the touches, because I know he is a player. Obviously, he got that injury history. He's someone who's going to need his workload managed. Although if you look at what he did late last season, maybe not, because he was the absolute workhorse for Seattle. I mean, he helped some people win fantasy leagues with that monster run down the last few weeks. Look, 6 touchdowns in the last 6 games, and he averaged a healthy 6.3 yards per carry, basically ripping off 100-yard games in all but one of the last 5. Now, this is a player that we can't just look at that small sample size. Yeah, he looked great, but what if, he gets injured again? What if, he goes back to being kind of a more mediocre back? Well, let me remind you that he averages 5.6 yards per carry for his career. He was already a really good running back. He just couldn't stay on the field. Now, this is why you got to look at him at that range, because it's not the talent that's the issue, it's just the risk. And we know that every running back with what we call the running back dead zone here, every one of them has some sort of risk. I'll take the guy that has the massive upside, who could land himself a really large role somewhere. And even if he stays in Seattle and he forms a 1-2 punch with Chris Carson, I'm okay with that because I know that's going to be a good offense again with Russell Wilson back healthy, hopefully. So yeah, Rashad Penny, I mean, when you're looking at guys in that range after pick 100, I don't know that there's any running back that has more upside than he does. All right, let's keep going. Who else you got in mind?
Well, I was completely off this guy last year, but I'm on him this year, and that is Kenny Golladay, going at pick 123. Look, I get it. He burned you last year if you spent, a pick inside the top 100 on him. But his situation was awful last year, and I told everybody that. His situation was awful. It's going to be better this year. They brought in Brian Daboll from the Buffalo Bills. All he did was turn that passing game around and make Josh Allen arguably the best quarterback in the entire NFL. I'm not saying Daniel Jones is going to have a Josh Allen leap, but Daniel Jones is almost certainly going to be better. This offense is 100% going to be better because they won't be running QB sneaks on 3rd and 8 from inside their own 5-yard line. They're actually going to open up this offense, and they're going to throw the ball, and they're going to score some points. And Kenny Golladay is the exact type of player you want to draft late in best ball, because he's the kind of guy who, yes, he may have some weeks where he does nothing, but then he'll have some huge monster games, and that's what you need from your late round sleeper picks in best ball. So to me, Kenny Galladay at this range checks all the boxes for a perfect best ball sleeper pick.
So never let it be said that we are too stubborn to change our minds, because I was right there with you. I was way off of Galladay this year, and I'm right there with you as far as him being a bounce back candidate next year. I think everything is pointing to him being a strong sleeper pick. Well, let me go back to my hometown. Obviously, I'm a Dolphins fan. Not too proud one these days based on everything going on in Miami. But I will say I do have hope. New coach Mike McDaniel, I think he's going to be what this offense needs, not just to get Tua going, but some of those other pieces. So I'm going to talk right now about Mike Gesicki, a guy that's going to be falling down based on disappointing season. Not necessarily through his own fault. This whole offense was inconsistent. A lot going on in Miami. Not going to get into all of that, but let's just say that after a strong start to the season, he kind of fell off. Well, here's the thing. Devontae Parker might be on his way out. The team isn't really just attached to him anymore. He's had his time there. There's rumors that he might not come back. We know they're going to focus on Jalen Waddle, but they need some more bodies there. They might get another receiver in the offseason. I almost guarantee they're going to get a running back, but Gesicki is still going to be there and be a focal point of this passing game. Let's not forget Mike McDaniel from San Francisco. He was there when George Kittle had his, at the time, record-setting season. And oh, by the way, they also brought John Embry as the tight end coach for Miami over from San Francisco, who also was there in San Francisco at that time. So I'm not saying Gesicki's the next Kittle, like he's going to do that, but this is a guy who has always oozed athleticism. The talent and the physical ability has never been a question. It's just his role, his target share. I think it's going to grow next season. He's going to be there. The rest of the receiving core is still a big question mark after Jalen Waddle. But I think this coaching staff, and another step forward from Tua, yes, I have faith in Tua, it's going to make Gesicki fantasy relevant once again. So I'm going to take him if I'm waiting on tight end. All right, hit me off with one more sleeper for these early best ball drafts.
Well, you talked about Rashad Penny. How about the running back who is still actually under contract in Seattle, and that is Chris Carson? Like, is his career over? What happened here? Pick 161? This is usually the land where you're picking, handcuffs or third string running backs, and you're hoping for injuries so your guy can play. And here you can get potentially the starting running back for Seattle. And I'm not convinced at all that Rashad Penny is going to be back with the Seahawks, because remember, they could have picked up his fifth-year option and they didn't. It's unlikely they're now going to throw money at him after declining that option, so he's probably gone. I know the risk here with Chris Carson is the neck injury, but as long as he comes back healthy, he's going to be the starting running back. Name me another starting running back who you can get this late in a draft. You can't, because there isn't one. So yes, the risk is there with the neck, with the injury. Maybe he'll never get back. Maybe he won't make it back on the field next year. But it's worth the risk right now, because if he does, you have an every week starting running back with one of your last picks. That's how you win best ball leagues.
That is exactly right. You got to shoot for upside. And the great thing is you don't need a full season of these guys, even if they just go off in a few weeks. Look, a guy like MVS has been on a lot of winning best ball leagues because he has those boom weeks, and the weeks that he does, it's okay, right? You can compensate for him. So with that in mind, my last pick is a receiver you might have just watched if you did pay attention to the Super Bowl. Not the one you're thinking of. It's Van Jefferson. So you did see, of course, unfortunately, Odell Beckham did miss the second half because it looks like a torn ACL. He is going to be out for probably most of next season, if not all of next season. Robert Woods, will he be back in time for week one? We'll see, but obviously a veteran there. He's going to be brought along slowly. We'll see what happens. Van Jefferson is still going to have a role behind Cooper Kupp. And this is the guy that is the deep threat, at least until Odell Beckham came and stole some of his thunder. But now he's going to go back to possibly being the number 2 target on this championship team. I think that's something that's definitely worth rostering. But again, the fact that he's got an ADP of 134, those few weeks where he goes off, they're going to more than make up for the duds. Yeah, he'll have some weeks where he does nothing, And that's okay because you're getting him as what, your fourth or fifth receiver. Those boom weeks make it worth it. He did score 6 touchdowns last year, 800 yards, and that was with half a year of Odell Beckham and Cooper Kupp setting records. So I think Jefferson is the perfect solution for that late slot where you're looking to fill in your receivers. He's going to have more attention and more targets next year than I think people realize. All right, guys, so we're here all offseason long to help you win, and we're starting now. Again, get in best ball action. You can actually even join us. Go to our Discord and join, and you can see what we're talking about. We're creating leagues, private leagues, and contests all offseason. Try to get in on the action right now for next season. All right, thanks for watching.